What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Tennessee Football Talk. My name is Joey Petersen. So happy that you guys are with us today. Last of the at-home videos, okay? I promise. We're going to be back in studio tomorrow, but we had to give you a video as quickly as we could because we got some great news to talk about, and unfortunately, we've all got some bad news to discuss as well. All that and more coming up right here on Tennessee Football Talk. Thank you so much for being with here. If this is your first time or if it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, I don't care. If you're not subscribed, let's change that today. It's 100% free to do so. We get you covered daily right here on the channel, all 100% free. We've added over 4,000 subscribers in just 4 weeks. Okay, so we're going incredibly fast. Get on the train now, okay, while you can. Again, hit that sub button. It's free to do so. We're starting with the great news, okay? Josh Heupel continues the absolute heater that he has been on. This time flipping four-star edge prospect Hezekiah Harris from Auburn. He's a top 100 player, and this guy could be an absolute star. He was committed to Auburn and then announced a couple of weeks ago that he was going to, I don't want to say, it was kind of confusing. Like he said recommit, meaning he wasn't counting out Auburn, but he also was saying, you know what, I'm going to make my final decision. It's either Florida, Auburn again, or Tennessee. And I feel like everybody from that moment was kind of like, okay, it's not going to be Auburn because you wouldn't need to recommit. You wouldn't need to like remake your decision if you just wanted to stay where you were already committed to. So basically everybody knew at that point it was either Auburn either Tennessee or Florida. And of course, he ended up choosing the latter. A little bit more on him. This is coming from 24/7 Sports, a scouting report. Long developmental pass rusher that shows the ability to win consistently at the point of attack by utilizing his length and natural athleticism off the edge. Estimated at 6'5", 220 pounds, Harris is primarily positioned as a 5 technique and an even front as he flashes the athleticism to play in both a 2 or 3-point stance as an on-ball defender. And I think one thing that's really, really cool about this is this kind of just continues the run that we've seen on pretty awesome edge rusher commits and defensive end commits so far since Josh Heupel has come to Tennessee. Like, if you think about it, obviously, you got James Pierce Jr., Josh Joseph, Jordan Ross. We saw him flash a couple of times, especially in run defense against Syracuse. And now Hezekiah Harris. This is kind of becoming a staple. I think a lot of that is because this defense has kind of turned itself around and what Tim Banks has been able to do over these last couple of seasons. I think a lot of it is the Rodney Garner effect as well, okay? I think he's as like highly thought of as a coach on the defensive line as really anybody else across the country. And so it's just really, really cool seeing the players that he's able to attract because a lot of people want to play for him because what he does for guys at this level and then what they see with James Pierce Jr., him going as a first round pick number, I believe it was 26 to Atlanta, 26 or 27, I believe. And so that's just something really, really special for these guys, and I think that they want to follow in those footsteps, and they see that coming to Tennessee and playing for Rodney Garner is probably the best way to do so. This 2026 recruiting class is absolutely hot, though. Josh Heupel has been destroying as of recent. If you look at the top 10 recruiting rankings, the only teams that have more 5-star commits than the Tennessee Volunteers are Oregon and Alabama. Now, they have the same amount of 5-star commits as Notre Dame, same amount of 5-star commits as Texas, and then Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, USC, A&M, like LSU, Miami. Every single one of those schools has less 5-star commits than Tennessee does. I'm not saying that Hezekiah is a 5-star. He's a 4-star edge rusher, but he just adds to a class that's already really, really good. You got Faizon Brandon, Tristen Keys, Gabriel Osenda, Celeste Moa, Joel Wyatt, Braden Roos, TJ White, Darian Albert. Now you add in also Hezekiah Harris, and you saw them jump from around the 11th in the country when it came to the recruiting rankings. They jumped all the way up to 8th, and I imagine this might give them another bump up to where they're kind of sitting maybe at now 7, maybe at now 6 as well. This guy's going to be a really, really good player. I'm really, really happy that this was able to happen, and I think Josh Heupel's kind of hot run that he's been on is just continuing. Now, I don't know. I feel like it might be done as of right now for the class of 2026 unless they can pull off some other major flips. But you think about the last 3 commits that they've gotten. All 3 of them flips. 4-star offensive guard out of, thumbs up. Thanks, quick time player. 4-star offensive guard flipped from South Carolina. Obviously, the 5-star wide receiver Tristen Keys flipped from LSU, and now this kid flipped from Auburn. Not only are you taking guys from other schools, not only are you adding them into your recruiting class, but you're taking away from rivals, from SEC programs, from Auburn, South Carolina, LSU, like 3 teams that kind of are, as we've seen over the first weekend of college football, could be on the rise, and you're helping take those recruits away from them. So that's the good news, okay? That's the first half of today's show. If you're still watching, appreciate you guys for being here. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. The bad news now. Okay, we got to talk about Rickey Gibson because unfortunately Josh Heupel had his press conference today and he provided not the best injury update on Rickey Gibson. As we all know, Rickey was out for pretty much the entirety of that second half against Syracuse this weekend, and you saw him on the sideline without a helmet on after being evaluated. So you kind of knew it wasn't anything good, but you didn't know if they were just being extra cautious because it was week 1. Unfortunately, Heupel spoke today and said Rickey will be out for an extended period here. How long? I don't have the exact timetable, but he'll be out for extended time. So unfortunately, you're missing your cornerback 1, who really was your cornerback 2, who had to step up as your cornerback 1 because your cornerback 1, Jamal McCoy, tore his ACL and is out as well. And so now this leaves Colton Hood, who had a phenomenal game against Syracuse. He was the highest rated player in PFF, but now he's got to take that step up and he's got to perform really, really well over these next couple of weeks. And you have your biggest game of the year in, 12 days from now? I can tell you already, Rickey Gibson's not going to be ready for it. I can tell you this already. Jamal McCoy, 90% sure he's not going to be ready for it as well. But now, this is where you lean on your younger guys, right? We saw a lot of really good play from those guys this weekend. McMurray was awesome. Loads of other guys stepped up. That's got to continue, okay? Colton Hood, like we talked about, got him in the transfer portal, had the scoop and score. Spent a year at Auburn, a year at Colorado. Now he's here at Tennessee. He was the highest graded player you had. He's got to be this team's cornerback 1. But also, this is where you look at that defensive line that we were talking about, who 5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss against Syracuse on Saturday. They've got to continue to do some of those same things, okay? They've got to be able to step up, make those plays, pressure the quarterback, because you're not going to get as good of coverage on the back end. Okay. Now, I have a lot of trust in Tim Banks, got a lot of trust in Willie Martinez. I know that they're going to make the proper adjustments to where this weakness that we have health-wise in the cornerback room doesn't show and doesn't glare as much. But also, you got to just kind of speak the truth here. You got Georgia coming in. They added Hezekiah Branch over the offseason via the transfer portal. Came over from USC. One of the most electric players in college football when he's got the ball in his hands. He's going to be a handful for you, okay? That's going to be a really, really tough guy to stop, especially when your 2 best cornerbacks aren't going to be playing because of injury, okay? So that's something I'm looking at, something I don't love about the upcoming game against Georgia. Obviously, I'm not too worried about it in terms of this ETSU game this Saturday. I hope I don't have to worry about it in terms of this ETSU game on Saturday. Then we'd have a pretty massive problem on our hands. But regardless, Josh Heupel coming out this morning, giving us that injury update, that injury report, and unfortunately, Rickey Gibson is a part of that. That's going to do it on today's show. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, this is not the usual setup. Go back to any video before this last, before this last Saturday, okay? You can see what we usually got going here on the channel. We got graphics. We're usually in studio. Looks a little bit better than just in my guest room sitting on a bar stool. But, hey, we do what we can because I got to get you guys videos as quickly as possible. If you're not following me on social media, make sure you got me on Twitter, okay? Made it super easy for you guys. I put the link to my Twitter in the comment section and also the description of today's video. All y'all got to do is click the link to that. It's going to take you to my X. Make sure to give me a follow. I've added over like 400 followers since I guess we rolled the channel out over a couple weeks ago. So make sure you give me a follow in there. And if you're not subscribed to the channel and you're still watching, it's obvious you guys like the content. Let's just make this thing Facebook official, okay? Hit that big red subscribe button. It's free to do so. And what you get in return is daily videos, all 100% free, all about the Tennessee Volunteers. Okay, if you're a diehard Vols fan, this is the right place to you. We got all the the VFLs circling right here on Tennessee Football Talk. So again, if you haven't joined us yet, do that right now.